Living Peace fourth installment of our An Organized Move video series. And today I want to talk to you about a moving day toolkit and what went into my moving day toolkit. So the move has been accomplished, hooray, hurrah, and I want to introduce you to the tools that really help me to get through that day. So you can choose any kind of box you want. I happen to have this little plastic toolbox on hand, but a shoebox will do, whatever happens to be available. It can even be a moving box. Just make sure you mark it carefully and make sure it doesn't disappear on you the day of the move. But some of the things that are really important to have on hand during those last hours, during that really active, busy day. Obviously, or maybe not obviously, the actual hardcore tools, screwdrivers, I had a vice grips that I needed, Allen wrenches, those kinds of things that are going to help you take apart your furniture, your bookshelves, your desks, those kinds of things that you might need. And you want to make sure these don't get packed ahead of time. You want to also make sure that you've got a little handful of Ziploc bags, so that when you're taking all of those screws and nuts and bolts apart, you can stick them all into a Ziploc and either tape that Ziploc onto the piece of furniture or toss it right into your moving kit so that you know that all of the hardware for all of your pieces, preferably labeled, if you're going to do that, label it with what piece of furniture it came out of, and toss it into your moving kit so that then you know all that hardware is immediately to hand. Obviously, tape of many kinds. In my last segment, I talked about this fantastic pre-labeled fragile and open first tape. This was really great for me in terms of marking things easily for both the mover's sake and for my own. I was also a huge fan of using this low-tack painter's tape, particularly for marking all of those pieces of furniture, the lamps, the trash bins, all of those things that you're not going to put into a box, but that the movers need some guidance about where these things should go. So you can just write directly on the tape the code of whatever room that particular item should end up in. And make sure that you label it on a couple of different sides or as many places as needed for them to be able to see easily where that object's supposed to be going. So the low-tack painter's tape was fantastic. Also, trash bags, certainly, and this was something that came in handy a lot in the last day of the move and the last phases of the move. This is the plastic wrap that I mentioned last time. You can use it for securing drawers, you can use it for bundling together pieces of small objects so that they all end up going together, things like tools in your garage, or cords, so that you're wrapping all of the cords for that television together in one thing. It's fantastic stuff, and I'm a giant fan. I also tossed into my kit some of these, which are the replacement for little Swiffer dusters. And, you know, why bring dust with you? So either as the things are coming out of your old home, give them a swipe down, or as they're landing in your new home, give them a swipe down before you start loading up those shelves or loading up that chest of drawers, just so that you are getting that fresh start. And the last very important thing was a big bag of grocery bags. These came in handy in a lot of different directions, but mostly for helping me to unload my fridge and freezer. Fortunately, I was just doing an in-town move, one town right next door to the other. And, well, your groceries all came into your home in grocery bags. Why the heck can't they come out and go to the new home in grocery bags? So having a nice supply of these on hand was really important. And then the last thing I want to show you is these, are these signs that I made up ahead of time, printed on my computer's printer, that allowed me to post them around in each of the rooms, labeling the room, and then giving that code, which I mentioned before, that I was using for marking all of the things that belong in that room, so that the movers, as they're bringing things in, can first of all make sure that they're taking a load of all stuff that belongs in the dining room that says DR on it, or that that what they have in their hands, they have that reminder immediately of, oh, this is the room that's the DR room. and that makes it easier to have things land where you intended for them to land. So I posted these on the wall. I did use some removable, easy low-tack tape so that it wasn't going to damage any paint or anything like that. I also posted up the space plans, which I talked to you about before, in each room, partially for the movers' benefit, partially for my own. And I think had I had someone inside the house who could have helped to make sure that things landed in the right places, that would have made it a little bit easier. But nevertheless, believe me, most things ended up where I intended them to, or at least within that room that I intended them to, and it's making unpacking a heck of a lot easier. So, this was part 4 of our An Organized Move series, talking to you about moving day toolkits. And we'll see you next week.